Today I'm going to be sharing the next part of my story while I put my makeup on. So at age 22 I had 3 children, single parent, getting divorced, and I was completely on my own with no family. I did lots of courses because I wanted to work, but just nothing fitted in at all with 3 children and a single parent. Did a few courses on childcare and NEB. I worked in chippies, laundrettes, you name it. I worked anywhere just to try and get on that job ladder. I did hit the clubs, I'll be honest. I was a single parent and still very messed up from my childhood. So I was out clubbing every weekend, a bit wild. Then I met my second husband, who was actually babysitting for me, and I found that I just wanted to be at home with him rather than going out clubbing. He was a DJ, so we just had the bestest times, and we got married in the year 2000. I'd also moved house in 1999 to a brand new location, which was absolutely lovely house for my children. However, not long after we moved in, we were subject to some really serious neighbourhood nuisance where, worst case scenario, I had fireworks thrown at my house, thrown through my windows. I had windows smashed. We were under siege at one point, threatened by them. They'd come in my house and they absolutely made our lives hell. The father of the family even attacked the policeman that went over to give them a warning, and he was jailed for 4 months for a fray. Bullying continued until neighbourhood nuisance team were involved. We had CCTV put in and they were eventually evicted, but it took its toll on my health. I was diagnosed with hypothyroid, which was hyperthyroid to begin with, and then I had to take medication to slow myself down because I was at risk of a heart attack. I lost a lot of weight, was grinding my teeth, couldn't sleep, very, very ill. I had started selling Avon actually in 1998, just before I'd moved to this property. But once the family were evicted, I was able to have more confidence to go out and meet more of my neighbours, and my round became absolutely huge. That was one of the things that have just made my life so much better. But my marriage didn't last. There was just something missing, although I love my second husband very, very much and still do. Even now we're best mates. He's more like my brother, which is what I realised. So by 2003, we were getting divorced. I met my third husband while I was still with my second husband, if we're being honest. And we ended up together in 2003. I very quickly got pregnant with my 4th child, but my children were now 12, 13 and 14, and I was ready for another baby and really, really happy. I had unfortunately got pregnant with a marina coiling though. So that needed to be removed, which put me at risk of a miscarriage. So it was a really, really scary time. Then at 20 weeks pregnant, I was told he had 1 kidney. He had 2 dilated kidneys back then. And he was in trouble basically. 29 weeks, I was asked, did I want a termination? Because they said that he would have Down syndrome. I was devastated. I walked out of the hospital. No way was I getting rid of my baby. 29 weeks, I could feel him kicking. I'd already called him Ewan. So I had him in 2005, and one of his kidneys did, in fact, deflate and is no longer working. So he has 1 kidney and renal valves. So for 2 years, he was on medication, and again at risk of having a kidney transplant. A very, very scary time. And then me and my third husband, we got married when Ewan was 18 months old, so it was 2007. Going back to 1996, however, I had received my care leavers access to records, which was also a very traumatic time for me. I got all the notes from being in care. It was basically a huge file with everything that had ever happened and everywhere I'd ever been, all written down, documented about me and my life. So back in 1996, when I'd read it, that was quite traumatic. But in 2007, or roughly thereabouts, when I had my baby, I decided that I was going to write a book using that as a template. That's what I did. I became a published author. My book is called From Care to Somewhere, and that's my life story up until that point in 2007. Life was really fun for a while when Ewan was really little. It was the most fun I'd ever had. I took him everywhere with me to bounce and rhyme and all the toddler groups. But I did notice he was really quirky and he was really different, but I could never put my finger on quite what it was. I'd been approached during my pregnancy, well, just before I got pregnant, about becoming a sales leader for Avon, and I jumped at that. So I was quite a successful sales leader and I used to take Ewan everywhere with me. And at that time, I was managing a charity shop just round the corner. My business was really booming. Things were really good. His life was quite good until he went to school. But I'm going to save that for the next part because things took a bit of a turn and life got really, really hectic and turned upside down for a long time. So I'll leave it there. I hope you like that second part of my story so far. And I hope you like my makeup too.